This one involves ESPN's SEC Network, the SEC Network, and they have this on-location show that is the SEC channel's version of Game Day, which is on the big ESPN channel, and it's called SEC Nation, and it's the on-location, just like that. Hey, we're live, we're out here, we're at the whatever fill-in-the-blank game this week, and they're breaking it down on location. People are hollering, yelling in the back, holding up signs and all this. So you guys, and we have the story here, and Bubba can give some insight on this today, that the headline reads like this: Paul Finebaum is out as SEC Nation makes major changes. So that doesn't mean that Finebaum is being removed from the SEC channel, but that he's being removed from the on-location SEC Nation.
I was reading some of the comments in the story, and that's one that we have locally. ESPN has some. There's some in national papers, the New York Post, and some others. And, a lot of the comments, we hated that guy. I'm glad he's out, fired, whatever. I don't think he was fired from that. I think he wanted out of that. I don't think the people writing the headlines did him fair justice in that story.
Yeah. So and you base that on just conversations you've had?
Several friends and conversations that have been had.
Right. So you think this was something that that Finebaum did not want to continue to do with his workload and his
No, he's I don't think Paul's ever been a big fan of crowds anyway. And we've known him a long time. Right. When he worked here in Birmingham, he went to great extents not to be around crowds. So I don't think he was a big fan of that. It's like several of the guys had said this morning, you do turkey toss. It's a lot of fun when you do it, but it's a lot of work and you give out.
Yeah, you're right.
Imagine doing that every week. It has to just wear on you. And then his other show responsibilities have to move on Fridays. I know he's going to New York twice a week doing things on the main channel. I think you're going to see more and more Paul on ESPN. I just don't think you're going to see him out on location doing SEC Nation.
So according to a report from the New York Post, Paul Finebaum and Marcus Spears, while staying with ESPN, are leaving SEC Nation. So it does say leaving, Bubba. So the headline, even inside the story, it doesn't say they were forced out. It just says leaving.
Right.
Coming in to join the show, which is going to be led by Tim Tebow, will be college football analyst and former winner of The Bachelorette, Jordan Rogers.
Yeah, Aaron's brother.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. He's the brother we know.
He's played at Vanderbilt, remember?
Yeah. And also they say Laura Rutledge will return as host of the show as well. So
Rogers does a good job. Now, he don't talk to his brother much, but he does a good job. Laura does a great job.
Yeah, that's a good team they've got.
They'll be fine. They said they're also talking and developing and doing, I think, some auditioning with Sean Alexander.
Correct. It says that in here as well. They say that they offered Ben Watson, retired NFL tight end, the job, but he turned it down, and they're now auditioning Sean Alexander.
Yeah, but if you look across the country, some of the headlines, I think, were a little misleading on that.
Yeah.
At least the way the people were taking it.
Yeah, because if you read this line, Paul Finebaum out as SEC Nation makes major changes, it sounds like they wanted to make these changes and they wanted Finebaum and Spears out. But what may be the truth is, I don't know about Marcus Spears, but we have pretty good information that Finebaum, that they're like, hey, this going out on location is old to us. We'd rather just be analysts there on the channel.
Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of both of them on I mean, they're, you know what I'm saying? Spears is on there a ton.
Yes.
I think
he does a good job.
Yeah.
I think Paul is in good standings with the higher ups at ESPN, and you're only going to see more and more of him. They're just taking this location thing that has a lot of baggage with it off his plate.
No, look, and you really brought it to light, Bubba. I remember when we were on Turner South, when that cable channel before it became Fox Sports, and they were doing their own programming. They weren't rerunning stuff. They were developing new shows. It was a lot of fun, and it was exciting. But they were obsessed with us being on location, and being on location, as you all just said, Bert, you got to get on the road, you got to get there, you get in the hotels, and you got to stay, and then you get up, and then we even went to trying to fly in and do the shows and fly out the same day just to keep you from being gone multiple days. And it is a lot to do to make it happen, and it does get old pretty quick.
He does.
Yeah, because, basically every Friday he would have to take his normal show on the road, and that's a whole nother bunch.
Right.
Remember, that's a whole nother crew and a whole nother setup they had to do. So, I think you're just seeing Paul move up the ladder at ESPN, to put it just straightforward.
Well, I thought about you because, the radio part of what he does are actually now it's just a audio version of what he's doing on SEC Nation, the TV channel. I thought of you again, Bubba, and I don't know if this is COVID or whatever, but I had not listened to him in a long time on the radio because it's not sports season. You know what I mean? There's no sports going on. Right. But I dialed over the other day.
It's no season right now.
And I dialed over the other day just to kind of check in and see how Paulie's doing, and the quality of the audio left a lot to be desired. I'm thinking if we can get these kind of microphones and get it sounding the way it's sounding, you feel like you're like somebody's got a mic in a TV studio and you're hearing the echo of the room and everything, and they're letting you hear what the guy on the TV is talking about on the radio. If we could get that radio audio better, it would be number one.
Well, he was probably on location somewhere. You're right. There again.
Yeah, you're right.
But to your point, I'm happy with our technical setup
yes.
here. I will say this, and Rick, this is going to sound like I'm bragging, and I don't. That is
here
not
he goes.
What I'm saying.
He's bragging, braggadocious. He's a braggart,
arrogant.
Go ahead, zoom in.
If every guest on the national networks, ESPN, Fox, if their video and audio looked as good as ours, it'd be a much better day.
Yeah. Well, I just think that's a fact. You know what you are? You're a
truth teller is what you are.
You're James Canuck. I'm not trying to brag or anything. That's just what happened.
That's just what happened.
No, I'm just trying to inspire people and say it can be done on a shoestring budget, but you just got to try.
Yep. Speaking of that, I need that clock moved 2 minutes ahead. Top of the hour. More of the Rick and Bubba show coming up right after this.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.